Can you hear me? Yes, you can. All right. Well, let's get started. The webinar is being recorded. Let me hit continue here. All right. As head of school, it is my distinct honor to get us started for the 88th Baccalaureate ceremony for Darrow School. Before we do that, though, a couple of housekeeping things. Number one, as I look out my window here in my office, I see a serious storm front coming over from the Albany area. So there is a distinct possibility we may lose power. If that happens, we'll do a redo. Hopefully that doesn't happen. On a more serious note, though, before we get started, I would like to acknowledge the extreme situation that's playing out in Minneapolis right now. This is incredibly hard to watch, and it's heartbreaking, actually. As the father of a biracial family, I worry about the safety of my son every day now, and that's unfortunately the way it is. So all of our hearts go out to the folks in Minneapolis dealing with this, and folks all across the country. Working at a wonderfully diverse place like the Darrow School, I have to believe we can touch the future and make sure that this doesn't happen ever again. It stops for good. Anyway, on to the baccalaureate ceremony. This is a culmination of months of engagement and hard work by the entire student body. And it celebrates those whose leadership has contributed to setting the bar high for all. At the Darrow School, we focus not on competition between students, but rather on every single student growing into their best self as a scholar and a person. In that process of aspiring to be and practicing being our best selves, we're enriched by the interactions among students and faculty. Every school year is different, fueled by the unique mix of individual personalities that make up that year. This year, for obvious reasons, was very different. Yet we all pulled together to meet this unusual set of challenges. So tonight, we gathered together virtually to celebrate accomplishments and to honor those who have particularly distinguished themselves. Tonight's speakers have been selected by the members of the class of 2020. And it is my honor now to turn things over to the Director of Studies, Mika Sarla. Mika?
And immediately I forget to unmute myself. Thank you, Mr. Vadney. Can everyone hear me all right? This is a special evening. Despite these circumstances, and the fact that we have to do this virtually and we can't have all of the folks at the tannery as we would like to, this is a great celebration. It's a celebration of academic achievement, and it's a celebration of citizenship in this community. And it is my pleasure to begin by inviting the senior class co-presidents, Kyla Allen and Sophie Plout, to give their baccalaureate addresses. Kyla hails from the Bronx. She has been with us for 2 years and has served as an RA, in addition to being elected senior class co-president. She was also a member of Darrow's NEPSAC championship winning women's basketball team. A 3-year senior from Montclair, New Jersey, Sophie, apart from being elected senior class co-president, has served as a core leader, theater prefect, and captain of the varsity softball team. Kyla and Sophie, welcome.
Hello to you all. My name is Kyla, for those who don't know, and I'm co-senior president with my partner in crime, Sophie. We are sad that due to circumstances, we have to come together like this. I remember the first time I came here to Darrow. I was very shy. I tried my best not to show it. Darrow showed me love with open arms and made me feel welcomed. I can now say that I have some friends that I can truly count on even in my worst days. I have the best roommate ever who showed me how to open up a little and that it is okay to be myself. I've had incredible teachers who've helped me show my best self through my work and pushed me to be better. I've had amazing dorm parents and an advisor who have taken good care of me and made this place a home away from home. It is sad that we have to leave, but I'm excited to begin new adventures with the knowledge that we know. Some things I will miss will be dorm time / morning meeting, advisor lunch to time spent in the student center, sports banquet, coffee house, and many more. Something that Mr. Badene said that really stuck with me is that from the beginning of the year to the end of the year, I would have changed to be an even better person than I am now. That I would have grown and made more amazing memories. To the class of 2020, we are leaving in a very crazy and unexpected way. These high school years flew by so fast. I hope you cherish these precious moments we had spent together. I hope your dreams take you to the corner of your smiles and to the highest of your hopes. To the juniors, sophomores, and freshmen, enjoy the time you have with each other, whether it's the highest of the highs or the lowest of the lows. These years will fly by really fast. Appreciate it with each step you take. Hello.
To my incredible class of 2020, I don't know where to start. I've been thinking about what I want to say in this speech since September. I had it all mapped out. I planned to walk us through all our major milestones, remembering every senior event, every fundraiser, every memory we had together. I was going to throw in some moment of incredible bonding from our trip to DC and some funny anecdotes from Six Flags. I remember thinking how the moral of my speech was going to be, keep working hard, because look at all the payoff. That obviously seems like a flawed point now. This isn't how I planned on giving this speech. This isn't how I planned on finishing this year in high school altogether. This isn't what any of us had in mind, but it's what we've got. I don't want to diminish what we did accomplish, because what we did this year has been incredible. We threw an amazing haunted house and Halloween party, held 3 bake sales, 2 Candygram events, and an immensely successful senior services initiative that would have doubled the funds for the senior class. We performed in plays and concerts, won sports games and championships, wrote so many papers, pulled all-nighters and early mornings. We are incredible, and we achieved incredible things. But more than that, we're making history. I'm sure you've heard that a million times by now, and I don't want to belabor that point, but it's true. We are living through history, and it's hard and exhausting, and we are doing it. During World War I, British soldiers in the trenches miles away from home and fighting for a reason they didn't quite understand sang a song to the tune of Auld Lang Syne. They sang, "We're here because we're here, because we're here, because we're here." And while most interpret this as a lament of meaninglessness, a shout into the void of despair over seemingly having no purpose, I see a different side. We don't always get the answer to why we're going through hardships, but we must go through them nonetheless. And we do it together. We are here because we're here, and that is enough. Even in this time of isolation, none of us are alone. We are a community, we are a family, and while we may not know why we are here in this moment we're in, we can proclaim that we are, and bask in the hope of being connected in a moment of adversity. And if we can make it through this, then surely we're ready for anything. To every underclassman, cherish the mountainside. Because once your time at Darrow ends, you'll find yourself wishing you had taken more chances, more opportunities. If there's one thing to learn from all this, it's that we must be grateful for what we have while we have it. And I am so grateful for everything Darrow has taught me, both in and out of the classroom. Thank you to the incredible teachers and staff for everything they've done for us. You have helped mold us into the people we are today. Finally, thank you to every member of the class of 2020. It has been my privilege and joy to serve you all this year, and I could not have asked for a better cohort. We made it, guys. We did it. We're here. And Hinkley Best Dorm! Boo, 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 boo! To my incredible class of 2020,
Thank you so much, Kyla and Sophie. I understand that you have an announcement to make, and Ms. Johansson is going to make you honorary panelists for that purpose.
all right, Kyla, you want to get us started?
Yeah. All right. So, to the class of 2020, we have something very exciting that we want to share with you. First, I would like to shout out Ms. Cooper and facilities for allowing this to happen, and Ms. Johansson for approving it. We have officially gotten little plaques that will go at the front of our gallery, I think. It will go right there. It will be donated. It'll be there to represent the class of 2020 for the seniors who sit there. You can remember the class of 2020 and the struggles and this time, and to remember to be with each other and to cherish the moments that you guys have with each other.
Yeah, as you all know, but maybe families don't, it's a tradition at Darrow where seniors sit in the front row during Friday morning meetings and at what Baccalaureate would have been and at graduation. And so it is our way of, though we may not be able to sit in those front rows tonight, our memory will be there. And that sentiment. The plaques will read, in honor of the class of 2020, these memories cherish these simple gifts, in homage to our school song. And this was all paid for by money that we raised as a class from the fundraisers that we had. So this is a gift from all of us to the place that I know we all wish we could be right now. Until we are back there together again.
Thank you, Kyle and Sophie. That was wonderful. It is my pleasure now to introduce the salutatorian of the Darrow class of 2020, Rihanna Young. Rihanna is a four-year senior from Voorheesville, New York. During her time on the mountainside, she has not only excelled academically, Rihanna has also served as core leader as well as an RA in the Ann Lee dorm. She has been a dedicated art prefect and captain of both cross-country and softball teams. Welcome, Rihanna.
Hello, my name is Rihanna. I'm sure that no one could ever have imagined the world that we're living in today back in August. I mean, I had no idea that I'd be graduating virtually. However, I was open to change, or at least I thought I was. This year, before coming back to school, I wrote myself a letter to read in May after finals. In it, I wrote, "Right now, I have no idea what's going to happen this year. If I could rewrite it, what would I put in it? What lessons did I learn this year?" Change is something that can be difficult for some people, including myself. When I first found out about virtual school, I was upset. I mean, I understood why it was necessary, but I was still sad that the end of my senior year wasn't going the way that I had in mind. Here comes my first lesson of quarantine. Accepting a situation where you have seemingly no control gives you some power back. Once I accepted what was happening and the reasons why we were all social distancing, everything got easier for me. Yes, I was still upset, but this helped me get a whole lot more grateful for what I already had. I also found ways to take control where I could. I really like art, and at Darrow I did a lot of ceramics. At home this isn't possible for me, so I found something that I can do within the constraints of quarantine. I started collaging. Instead of just being upset, I found something else that I could do. This is where lesson number 2 comes into play. I'm in control of my own happiness, and no one can take it away from me. Of course, there's still times when I'm sad, scared, or upset because of quarantine and social distancing, and it's still important to feel these emotions, but quarantine has driven me to find the small things in life that make me happy. For example, I really love nature, so I've started going out for walks every day. There's so many things that I can't do right now, so it's my job to figure out what I can still do to make myself happy. It's nobody else's responsibility. Next is lesson number 3. Doing something that will benefit you, even when you don't want to, can be a good thing. Sometimes when I'm in a bad mood, it can be hard for me to find the motivation to go for a walk. However, no matter how reluctant I feel, I always try to push through and go anyway. And my mood usually improves once I'm outside. Sometimes, what you don't want to do is what will benefit you the most. Lesson number 4. Recognize the small or big things in your life and try and be grateful for them. This helps me when I'm upset about anything. For example, I say to myself, I'm so lucky to have access to clean air and clean water, but Gratitude doesn't always have to be for the big things that meet your basic needs. Gratitude can be for the little things that bring you joy. For example, it may sound silly, but I'm grateful for my gel pens. They are something I used to draw and color with, and this brings me joy. It may be small, but small doesn't equate to nothing. This is lesson number 4. Small isn't nothing. What do I mean by this? Well, the joy that I get from drawing with my gel pens may be small, but that doesn't mean that it doesn't matter. Trying to recognize the small things can help make any situation better, and positivity never really hurt anything. So, I would like to recognize all the work that went into making this virtual graduation and baccalaureate the best that it can possibly be. I would also like to say thank you to all the essential and healthcare workers for allowing me to stay home and stay safe. I would like to say thank you to everyone who has influenced my high school career, whether in big or small ways. And finally, I would like to say a huge thank you to my family for supporting me through all the bumps in the road. Challenges and change create growth, and there's always something to learn, even from a so-called bad situation. Acceptance, gratitude, and acknowledgement are helping me. What are you doing to get through these challenging times? In the end of that letter that I wrote to myself, I concluded with, good luck, you can do anything. And that's how I'll end today. Thank you.
Mika, you're mute. There you go.
Let's try that again. I will now welcome Simon Holzapfel, the departing president of Darrow School, to recognize this year's Young Founder.
I just want to say a few words about Paul and the Young Founders Program this year. I was so proud of Paul for his really diving into the program and quickly grasping the basic concepts and even more impressively applying them to his life. Paul, thank you for your courage. Thank you for your willingness to experiment and adapt. I loved seeing your vacuum chamber, and I'm sorry that the year ended in the way that did. You have really embodied the motto that the obstacle is the way, and for that I'll always think fondly of this year. To the class of 2020, I want to say bon voyage. I love you guys, and to everyone else, the same. Take care.
And that is a recognition of the Darrow School's member of the Young Founders Program this year, Paul Asello. We will now move to recognize several notable academic achievements of this year. We will begin with the Departmental Awards. For each award, I will invite the department chair to present the award and to share a brief appreciation of the award recipient. We'll begin with the Visual Arts Awards. And to present that, I will invite Ms. Liz Fougere, the chair of the Visual Arts.
Mika, I've got Performing Arts.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, sorry, I didn't realize it. We will start with the Performing Arts instead. And to present the Performing Arts Award, I will invite Ms. Jennifer Pitleski.
Thank you, Mika. This year's award winner has had an incredible journey within the Performing Arts Department. She has embraced how to be unapologetically herself, and through that fight, she has worked hard to take space for her voice and to embrace the delight of an audience listening to her every word or note. The multiple roles she has played within the department fueled the program with a passion and inspirational energy that was unlike anyone before her. This young artist's talent for making sense within the rigor and chaos of creating ensemble work was phenomenal. Her ability to bring out the best in her fellow artists was sheer joy to watch. She held strongly to her belief in truth, the power and respect for building a performance, and the pursuit of one's goals when surrounded by doubt. Nicole Lyons writes, She will rise with a spine of steel and roar like thunder. She will rise. It is with great joy that this year's Performing Arts Department Award is presented to the spectacular Sophie Plout.
Thank you, Ms. Bielinski. We'll now move on to visual arts and presenter Liz Fougere, the department chair of the Visual Arts Department.
Thank you. Some people like the act of making art. Other folks are born with an innate need to create. The impulse to create as necessary as breathing. These people we call artists. This year's recipient definitely falls into the latter category. Quiet and private, yet friendly and approachable. This year's Art Department Award recipient came to Darrow with an already established skills and a set methodical approach to making. Often guarded in his practice, it was with patience and anticipation that the Visual Arts Department awaited him to bring his game to the Julian. When he did, curiosity and playfulness entered his refined and meticulous methods, and new things started happening. Now, as he gets ready to leave the mountainside, he's more open to feedback, more willing to take risks, and proudly shares his profound art with the rest of the world. This year's Art Department Award goes to Kwaku Wooten. Yay!
Thank you, Ms. Fougere. Just a note that our network is giving us a little bit of trouble. I get some notifications about it being unstable. Not a huge surprise, I suppose, but you know, bear with us. Hopefully, we can get through all of this. To present the John A. and Dorothy Van Voorst Music Award, I now invite Mr. Andy Werba, the Darrow School Music Director.
Good evening, everyone. This year, the Music Award goes to a student who has shown outstanding achievement and dedication in our music program. This student has demonstrated a commitment to performance which has been showcased in concerts on campus and throughout the community over the past 4 years. Her vocal talent is raw and palpable as she sings with warmth, strength, dynamics, and love. She has also devoted significant time and energy to the music program through jazz ensemble, chorus, and as a music prefect. The following quote is from one of the songs performed at the Tannery, which speaks to her own and victories at Darrow. When the sharpest words want to cut me down, I'm going to send a flood, going to drown them out. I am brave, I am bruised, I am who I'm meant to be, this is me. This year's Music Award is presented to Julia Ordu.
Thank you, Mr. Werba. Next up is the English Department Award, and to present that, Ms. Nancy Dutton, the chair of the Darrow English Department.
This year's recipient of the English Department Award has deserved it for her previous 2 years as well. A once-in-a-career student, she has raised the levels of discourse in her classes. She embraced her role as an inclusive member of the learning community, relating to and conversing with her peers in remarkably gracious ways. She brought joy and personal insight to research and literary analysis, leaving the seeds of so many fascinating future papers in each complex and nuanced completed project. Humble and generous, she unabashedly reveled in the precision of language and the interconnectedness of topics. In one of her freshman papers, she wrote that it is an act of resistance to pursue one's strongest passions while being unapologetically connected to one's identity. For her elegant and inspiring resistance, Nishima Wolf Vitali Penniman has earned this year's English Department Award.
Thank you, Ms. Dutton. Moving on to the History Award, And to present that, Mr. John Bielinski, the Darrow History Department Chair.
This year's History Award recipient calls to mind the subtitle of Ted Morgan's 1982 chronicle of Winston Churchill's early life, Young Man in a Hurry. This student has eagerly immersed himself in every available aspect of history and its related disciplines, doubling up on history coursework, serving as a history prefect, maintaining enthusiastic membership in Rho Kappa and the Political Discourse Club, undertaking independent studies relating to foreign relations and global economics, and pursuing opportunities to participate in summer enrichment programs relating to the social studies. This student lives and breathes history, as evidenced through his enduring fascination with the social studies and social sciences. He is passionate about his commitment to continually expanding his knowledge and understanding of the world, and to putting that information and insight to work to make the world a better place. This student unfailingly shows perseverance, his words have the power to inspire others, and he displays resilience, grit, and grace in all his endeavors. The History Department is very pleased to present this year's History Award to Jahim Pierre.
Thank you, Mr. Bielinski. To present the World Languages and Culture Award, I invite Ms. Wendy Russell, the chair of the World Languages Department.
Michelle Obama said, "I am an example of what is possible when girls from the very beginning of their lives are loved and nurtured by people around them. I was surrounded by extraordinary women in my life who taught me about quiet strength and dignity." This year's recipient of the World Languages and Culture Award is an example of an extraordinary woman who embodies the virtues of quiet strength and dignity in all she does. This student consistently showed a deep interest in and a love of Spanish language and culture, and chose to study grammar and literature that typically would be taught at a university level. Her speaking, writing, analysis, art, and poetry contributions related to her readings and research were exceptional and many times truly magical. This student has such a beautiful way of making connections to what she is reading to other elements around her. When reading literature and poetry, she would truly honor the writer and delve deep into each line, excited to understand the underlying meaning. I enjoyed listening to the students' intricate thoughts, hypotheses of multiple meanings for lines of poetry, and concepts or phrases that intrigued her. For this student, words and actions are sacred. What this student promises to do in every aspect of her life, she does with dedication, love, and tenacity. This student is a gift, and a ray of light to all in her path. It is with great honor that I select Nishima Wolf Vitali Penniman as this year's recipient of the World Languages and Culture Award in Spanish. Felicidades, Nishima. Estoy tan orgullosa de ti.
Thank you, Ms. Russell. To present the Mathematics Award, I invite the Mathematics Department Chair, Mr. Joel Priest.
The Math Award this year goes to a student who has shown great dedication to the study of mathematics. She challenged herself by taking the most advanced courses Darrow has to offer. She held herself to a high standard and excelled. She never shied away from tough questions and often posed tough questions of her own that would spark lively class discussions. This year's Math Award goes to Rihanna Young.
Thank you, Mr. Priest. To present the Science Department Award, I invite Dr. Ted Lightburn, the chair of the Darrow Science Department.
This year's recipient of the Science Department Award has demonstrated a unique aptitude for the sciences and has taken many upper-level courses in the department. The passion and enthusiasm he has shown in his classes has been infectious, and he has elevated the level of discourse amongst his peers. In his final semester at Darrow, this student spent many additional hours in the science building working on a project much larger than what was asked of him. He could often be found with greasy hands and a huge grin on his face while designing and troubleshooting a complex mechanical problem involving a bicycle. He learned about new tools, new methods, and new procedures with such enthusiasm that it was hard to have to tell him to put down the wrenches for the day. It is with great pleasure that I announce that the recipient of this year's Science Department Award is Jared Woolridge.
Thank you, Dr. Lightburn. Moving on to the Class of 65 Athletics Awards, presented by the Darrow Director of Athletics, Mr. John Singleton.
Hello, everyone. The Class of 65 Award is given to the senior who best represents Darrow in sports through team play, sportsmanship, and athletic achievement. This year's recipient of the Class of 65 Award is a determined, talented woman whose competitive fire burns hotly beneath a usually placid surface. She is a three-sport athlete who, through hard work and dedication to improvement, has achieved individual success, garnering all-league recognition, as well as numerous sports banquet awards. By her example and increasingly through time, her well-timed words, she has become a leader of women and has been selected as captain of all three of her teams. A consummate competitor, an athlete with a capital A, the recipient of the 2020 Class of 65 Award is Corrine Laird. The Class of 65 Award is given to the senior who best represents Darrow in sports through team play, sportsmanship, and athletic achievement. This year's recipient of the Class of 65 Award is a determined and demanding leader whose competitiveness and dedication, as well as vocal encouragement, serve to elevate the level of performance of his teammates over a 4-year career. His leadership has been recognized by his selection as captain of 3 varsity teams. He has earned numerous sports banquet recognitions and has represented Darrow Athletics well through hard play, unfailing sportsmanship, as well as respect for opponents and indeed the game, whatever the game may be. Intensity, desire, heart and hustle on the field and court reflect a true and deep passion for sport. The recipient of the 2020 Class of 65 Award is Jared Woolridge.
Thank you, Mr. Singleton. We will now move on to the George Love Hands to Work Award, presented by Dr. Ted Lightburn, Director of Darrow's Hands to Work program.
This year's recipient of the George Love Hands to Work Award is a creative and bold presence on campus. This student was dedicated to working from start to finish every Hands to Work session, and this year took on large, dirty, and potentially unseen projects. He would work effectively on independent projects, and he would also work collaboratively to include others in a meaningful way. This student transformed the storage spaces in the PAC, as well as the theater's props storage, backstage area, film equipment storage, and more. This year's recipient of the George Love Hands to Work Award is Tench Chelnoki.
We'll now move to the presentation of the Williams College Book Award. To present the award, I invite Ms. Libby Doan, Darrow's Director of Academic Mentoring Program.
The Williams College Book Award is given to a student who has demonstrated intellectual leadership and has made a significant contribution to the extracurricular life of the school. Williams College welcomes this opportunity to recognize students who show the potential to become leaders of the future. This year's recipient is a deep thinker, driven by curiosity and accompanied by a keen sense of observation. His leadership comes in the form of wisdom from beneath a quiet exterior, yet is not only clearly heard, but deeply respected by all. It is my pleasure to present the Williams College Book Award to Joseph Lapel. Hey, Joseph.
Thank you, Ms. Doan. We will now present the grade level awards. For each grade, I invite the advisor of the award recipient to present the award. First, the 9th grade award, and presented by Ms. Nancy Dutton.
The 9th grade class award is presented to the member of the class who has demonstrated dedication to academic excellence and displays effective participation in the activities of the school. Chosen from a competitive field of candidates, this year's recipient loves the conversation of learning, talking through processes with students and teachers thoughtfully and incrementally, and demonstrates his engagement through the personal interest he brings to each subject. This year, the recipient of the 9th grade class award is Garrett Rhodes.
Thank you, Ms. Dutton. Moving on to the 10th grade class award, and to present the award, I invite Ms. Catherine Steins.
The 10th grade class award is presented to the member of the class who has demonstrated dedication to academic excellence and displays effective participation in the activities of the school. This student uses their quiet competence to transform and model integrity for their peers, whether it's on the basketball court as an underclassman starter or their insightful approach to their writing. They say, "Yes, I can," through their willpower and tenacity. This year, the recipient of the 10th grade class award is Jada Page. Woo!
Thank you, Ms. Steins. I will now present the 11th grade class award. The 11th grade class award is presented to the member of the junior class who has demonstrated dedication to academic excellence and displays effective participation in the activities of the school. Again, chosen from a very competitive field, this year's 11th grade class award recipient has made a big impression during his first year at Darrow. To quote one of his teachers, "In class, he is the energy and breath that opens the door for others to engage." The journey he has been on already in his life speaks very much to the desire he has to continue to grow, take on challenges, and embrace his curiosity for learning. His artistic creativity has been outstanding. Whether through visual arts or the music, he writes, records, and performs. This year's junior class award goes to Zach Sabetta. We will now move on to the featured awards. First, I invite Mr. Don Singleton to present the faculty award.
Hello again. The faculty award is presented to the returning student who best demonstrates community spirit, academic endeavor, and personal initiative. This year's recipient contributes to the fostering of strong community through his active enthusiastic, and sincere participation and leadership in multiple areas. He has established and sustained a sterling record of academic achievement. He is consistently an initiator of community-enhancing projects and demonstrates the vigor, energy, and focus to bring such projects to completion. This year, the recipient of the Faculty Award is Jaskaran Singh.
Thank you, Mr. Singleton. And now to present the McIlvaine Memorial Award, I invite Ms. Kate Johansson.
The McIlvaine Memorial Award has been created by the family and friends of the late Edward Morton McIlvaine of the Darrow class of 1964, who was killed in action in Vietnam while on duty with Special Forces of the United States Army. This award is presented to that member of the junior class who best exemplifies the qualities of vitality, integrity, and courage. This year's recipient exemplifies each of these qualities. She amazes me regularly with her bravery, thoughtfulness, and ability to do the hard thing. This year, the recipient of the McIlvaine Memorial Award is Faith Jackson.
We'll now move on to the Faculty Awards. First, I invite Ms. Johansson to present the Solmsen Faculty Prize.
I forgot I had to go again. Okay. The Hans J. Solmsen Faculty Prize is given annually to the faculty member who has demonstrated a commitment to the Darrow students through consistent and determined efforts to encourage and inspire those students to reach their potential. This year's recipient works tirelessly to help all students as they become independent learners. She is kind, consistent, and a positive presence for all students. She is a gifted problem solver and never backs down from a challenge. Since joining the Darrow community, she has worked tirelessly to further develop and improve the academic mentorship program. And her hard work is reflected in the many successes of the students that program serves. It is my great honor to present this year's Solmsen Faculty Prize to Libby Doan. I don't have pictures of the faculty, sorry.
Thank you, Ms. Johansson. I will now present the John F. Jolien III Faculty Award. John Jolien, Darrow headmaster from 1961 to 1975, was a tireless supporter of faculty and a visionary for the school. Through his leadership and devotion to young people, he represented the finest qualities of the Shaker tradition. This award is given annually to the faculty member who has demonstrated by his or her depth of commitment, a love of Darrow and its students. It is my privilege to present the 2020 Jolien Faculty Award to a person who has been absolutely tireless in her advocacy of every student of Darrow during my 4 years here. It has been an absolute honor and pleasure to be her co-worker and to learn from her wisdom how to be a better mentor and a role model for young people. Unfortunately, she has decided to move on to new challenges in her life, both professional and personal, in the part of the country where most of her family lives, on the West Coast. It is my absolute pleasure to present the Jolien Award to Darrow's tireless Dean of Students from 2014 until this year, Kate Johansson. I will now invite the head of school, Mr. Vadney, to present the Hoops Family Faculty Award.
Thank you, Mika. Kate, that's so true. We are going to miss you. The Hoops Family Faculty Award, given in memory of Joseph C. and Elizabeth S. Hoops by their daughter, former Darrow Assistant Admissions Director and Trustee, Holly Hoops Hudemak, each year honors a returning Darrow School faculty member, staff person, or administrator with at least 3 years of experience at Darrow, who has made a lasting impression on students and made a difference in their lives and the life of the school. This doesn't have to have been in the classroom. It can have happened anywhere, on or off the Darrow campus, and at any time during the year, not just between September to June. This year's student-only voting was close, but one name rose to the top. This year's recipient is well respected by her students and colleagues alike. Her dedication and passion for teaching is evident in everything she does. One student wrote, quote, "She was able to make every class interesting and made me be excited to learn in her classes." Another student wrote, "Through unparalleled compassion and care, she has made each student she interacts with feel valued and cherished, both inside and out of the classroom. She is a remarkable teacher, house parent, and coach, and I am certain that she will be equally remarkable in her new role as Darrow's Dean of Students." The recipient of the 2020 Hoops Award is Jenna Barbary-Glovsky. Congratulations, Jenna.
Thank you all. And congratulations to my colleagues for their well-deserved awards and prizes. We will now move on to the baccalaureate address. We might actually be able to get through the whole program without, again, I'm going to jinx it now, without a power outage. We'll try. This year's baccalaureate faculty orator has been with us on the mountainside since the fall of 2017. In that relatively short period of time, she has become a legendary figure. After her move from an English teacher position to the learning specialist role, her inclination to be there as an untiring support and safety net for any and all of Darrow's students has found an ideal venue. When new challenges emerge, no matter how unforeseen, Ms. Rich is invariably one of the first to step in and to say, "I'll do it." Her self-admitted mother hen qualities have helped make this place home to so many students, so far from home. And her knowledge of Star Trek trivia and pop culture references I have never even heard of is downright legendary. It gives me great pleasure to introduce tonight's baccalaureate address and faculty orator, Ms. Maud Rich.
Dearest seniors, my dearest senior. No. All right, I'll try. My dearest senior. No. Seniors. All right. My dearest seniors, I'm so pleased and proud to be your baccalaureate speaker. I'm honored to be able to talk to you. In case you haven't noticed, I love to talk to you. I suppose it's possible that every teacher at every school, everywhere, thinks that their students, seniors, and underclassmen are the best in the whole world, but that's sad for them, because they're wrong. We have you. I'm not going to give you advice, and it's not because I don't give good advice. I mean, you know, frankly, I give champion level advice, but you don't need it. And that's because you've got this as a group and as individuals. You have got this. Trust me, if I thought you needed one more lesson, one more piece of advice, one more tool for your toolbox, I'd gladly embarrass you by doing a song and dance routine so it was embedded or scarred in your mind forever and ever. But what I think that you might need in this crazy time, in the middle of a pandemic and some understandable disappointment and maybe some uncertainty about what comes next, I just need you to remember 3 things before you go off and you make the best choices for you. You are amazing, you are capable, and you are loved. I'll start with explaining what I mean by amazing and capable. Let me pick an example. How about Heron? Here's a kid who, let's face it, is much, much cooler than he believes. He's a true artist, an artist who crafts meaning and powerful communication and humbly presents it to the world, allowing others to share his vision. He's got this. It's amazing. What about Nishima? I mean, we all know she's amazing, but this isn't just about like early admission to Brown, right? This is about her inclusivity, her need to really understand everyone's perspective, and the reminder in her energy that we all need to be good to each other, now and always. And she's got this. It's amazing. Or Sebastian, who marches to the beat of his own drum, and you just know he made the darn drum himself. That's how real he is. He probably cut down the tree and like did the carve. I don't know what he would do, but he knows. That's the important thing. And that's going to be the important thing, is that Sebastian knows. He's got this. On the subject of authenticity in music, I think we'd better talk about Ethan. He's going to bring music to the world, and the world needs to be ready to listen. One day, he was tapping out a rhythm on the side of a tissue box in class, and I'm driving home, and I'm humming to myself, and I'm wondering, what is that? I can't place it. And it was the music that he gave to me. So are these 2 students capable and amazing? Yeah. Yeah. By the way, if you're wondering at this point if I'm going to talk about all of you individually, excellent job, you've been well educated, because that's what I'm going to do. Baruby. Hey, Baruby. You know how you don't like to be the center of attention? Tough, because that's what we're going to do. Baruby watches and understands more than most people will ever realize. He once told me he wasn't that smart, which is the only dumb thing he's ever said to me. He's got incredibly strong insight, and he reads people faster than I blink. And Kyla, come on now. She's so balanced and calm and like that laser vision. You don't need to be around Kyla for very long to understand that she is going to get the job done. Any job. Done. Kyla, Baruby, are you capable? Yeah. And Andy Wu. When I first met Andy 3 years ago during yearbook crew, I was immediately pulled in by his thoughtful and sweet personality, and the way that he cares for his friends is as careful as he chooses his words. And it's like each moment and each syllable is poetry. And then Julia Julia's clarity struck me at once. Her clarity of purpose is reflected in the pure and sweet tones of her clarity of voice. She can tell you herself about the story about singing to cows, but the whole world is awaiting her next note, and everyone will listen. They're amazing. Amazing and capable. We, as a society, have preconceived notions about what that looks like, right? Especially in a speech like this. But it looks like so many things, and it looks like all of you. Riley. Remember the days of Riley? When you weren't sure that you were listening, I wasn't sure that you were listening. And what a gift it is to know, and to know you know, what a listener and a thinker and a creator you have become. Your ability to bring humor with intellect and deliver it in a way that allows everybody around you to be comfortable enough to really hear it, that's amazing. Kat, too. She allows those around her to care and let her care and be cared for because she's truly available. And her whole being is there for you and to help you. I remember when Kat stayed with me to watch the whole of Star Wars. It was my first weekend activity, and I was really nervous. I'm pretty sure she hated the whole thing, but she stayed for the whole thing. And then she thanked me and helped me clean up at the end. And I mean, purpose and poise, and they've got this. They're amazing. We've got so many capable and caring and compassionate people in your group. And we've got strength, of course. Kwaku. He sets the tone for experiences. When he's in, you have no choice but to be all in, like Kwaku. His magnetic ability to set the tone of a room makes him unstoppable. I've never really used the fitness center, but every time he would remind our community about respecting the space, I sat up and listened and checked if I had my indoor shoes on, which I didn't, but that's fine. And speaking of strength, Sarah, I dare you not to listen to Sarah. No, strike that. I'm not sure what would happen to you if you didn't listen to Sarah. It wouldn't be anything violent, right? It's Sarah. But her unapologetic focus on making the wrong in the world right makes it imperative that each of us stops and really thinks and knows that people like Sarah are going to lead us to affect real change. I hope you guys can hear me and hear what I'm saying, because you have each other. Doesn't matter if you got along every day, every minute. You've got each other, you've got you, and you've got this. We've got so many students who are so authentically themselves that the amazing and capable is just strikingly evident. Tench will command your attention, and that's not an accident. He could certainly go far in just pure academia. He's got the intellect for it. I have a feeling it comes easily to him. But in noticing how others create meaning through their perceptions, he's decided to use art to make his mark. He's got that. He saw that red light in the theater, and he fought me for it. But for Tench, red isn't stop. It's a clear beacon of notice. And while we're in the theater, Sophie is the change she wants to see in the world. Her frustration is a gift to me. That might not be the first thing you think of when you think of Sophie. But Sophie reminds me that strength of character is challenging. It's not sweet. And yet, Sophie can be the sweetest person ever, and she's going to challenge you as well. She cares so deeply about everything, and that sounds like a cliche, but Sophie defies cliches and wears herself right out in the open so that we can all learn. They've got this. This senior class is also full of deceptively easygoing folks. Pablo's so likable. Everyone wants to talk with him. And he will talk. Pablo can strike up a conversation with anyone. And he really wants to hear what you have to say. That's huge. That's so rare in a world of social media and counting your likes. You don't have to count your likes around Pablo because he actually likes you. And we have the ever cheerful Matt Williams, who's always smiling, even right now, during class, in this time, every time, he's smiling. He's up for anything. He's there to help. He'll share his music with you, and he's gonna carry the biggest amp and the bass drum back to the van. While he's doing that, he's changing people's minds about what a musician is. He's able to modulate his own volume to reach everybody's ear. And Nicola wants to try new things, and I mean, that's not really accurate, is it? Nicola wants to try all the things, which is awesome. He's got a gift for communicating that lets you know that by trying and then doing all the things, he's not threatening you. He's not trying to be better than you in some way. But then he's going to inspire you by doing and trying all the things to make you wonder what you haven't tried and why not. We've got seniors who stay the course too. Perseverance, to me, is nothing short of amazing. Corrine is unapologetically herself. She will look you in the eye, and she will tell you the truth with a capital T. She's also got this crafty, quiet sense of humor, and if you can handle the truth, then you're going to be laughing so hard your abs will feel it for a week. We've got Brennan and his signature bologna sandwich, carefully unwrapped every single day, precisely how he likes it. And he doesn't need your approval because he knows what works for him and he knows why. And please don't even look at his parking space. This kid made Darrow his experience his own. And it's the exact way it works for him. And he knows he's got the balance he needs and his family next to him the whole way. I wonder, can you see you? Can you see that you are such a unique group and you started here maybe 4 years ago, maybe 3, maybe 2, maybe 1, but you'll be joined by not only this situation, but by how amazing you are, how capable you are, and how you are together and individually. We've got seniors who can seem so different, but they complement each other so perfectly. It's always a good idea to look for Tessa if you need honestly good advice. Tessa has got this, and she'll make her point quietly without stomping those glittery Doc Martens or making a scene. It's just a shame for you if you don't listen. because Tessa sees everything. And she'll explain it to you if you'll sit and you'll hear her. And Tessa's going to be heard. Calvin, on the other hand, has a literally bigger presence. I swear, Calvin, you've gotten so tall, I couldn't just accidentally throw you off the stage now. And it's a long story, so it's better we don't talk about that. We all know how freaking talented you are and how willing you are to include everyone in your projects. You know how to ask for and how to take advice, which is the only thing that I can think of to explain how one person can be that good at that many things. Quiet or loud or tall or vertically challenged, we've got a range. Let me remind you, you're all amazing and you're all capable. Rihanna, you've got a heart of gold. And people are drawn to your quiet wisdom. I so admire your ability to take the time you need for yourself. But then you make sure that you've got the big picture and you're still on the right track. We can all learn from Rihanna that single-minded determination doesn't mean that you don't grow along that path, and that path might let us kind of wind around when we need it to. William, who we've not known nearly long enough, is compassionate, mindful of his own impact, and Dr. Jones can imitate any accent. He quickly made an impression on all of us with his signature combination of wit and vulnerability. Seniors, let's not forget those who move us by example and by strength. Jared is a role model for young kids, for his peers, for adults, and in every situation, he brings the exact presence, which is just so Jared, a peace and strength at the same time, which is unstoppable. And his public speaking, the way he humbly inspires, it defies explanation. Every time he gets up to give a speech, you think, this one's can't be as powerful as the last one. And then it's better. And he gently hands off the mic to the next person, and he smiles, does that Jared shrug, and we're all just still struggling to take it in. And Eric is. I'm sure he'd prefer I not say much, so I won't. I'll just say this. By your example, you've made me a better person, a better teacher, and a better listener. And I'll always be grateful. And is that everyone? Oh, all right. Jeffrey, I'm not going to cry, Marcellus, who I've known since he was just learning how to speak. And now, my friend, the world is ready to hear you. You aren't just descriptions or attributes. You are the descriptor. You are dependability. You are strength. You are kindness. And dude, I'm gonna miss you so much. You are all amazing and capable of bringing great joy and leadership and clarity to our world. A world which didn't cooperate with our plans to celebrate you in the manner that you deserved and with the traditions that you expected. And we're not in the location that you wanted. And guess what? That brings us to the last thing that I think you need to remember. You are loved. I love you guys. Everyone at Darrow loves you guys. We love you, and we know that you are amazing and capable, and definitely, undoubtedly, pinky swear, forever and always, loved. Dear.
Thank you for those wonderful words, Ms. Rich. Our evening is almost over, and I'm going to invite Ms. Johansson to give us a send-off.
Thank you, Mr. Sarala, and thank you for being our MC tonight. We appreciate your steadfast leadership throughout this. I just want to take a moment and say congratulations again to all our award recipients and to each of the students for your successes and all the things that we've experienced this year, the good and the bad and the in-between. I hope everyone will join me in a final round of applause, or silent applause maybe, as we do, for our speakers, our presenters, and of course our award recipients. I know this isn't what any of us planned, and yet I think we've had some success at least in celebrating everyone and the achievements of the year. Tomorrow we will be doing graduation similarly. I wanted to clarify that seniors, you all received an invitation to be panelists, much like our presenters were tonight. I am working on a way to make sure that more of you are visible throughout the ceremony. I'm gonna figure it out, I promise. So if you can please make sure to follow that invitation that I sent to you, and if you want to have your family with you while you watch, that's great. We fully support that. Everyone else should have gotten a link to graduation. If you didn't, just shoot me an email. I'll send you that link. Graduation is at 10 a.m. tomorrow morning. I will open up the event at 9:45. So again, I want to say thank you to everyone who presented, to everyone who watched, to everyone who participated. This has been a wonderful evening for me. I have loved seeing all of you. Thank you to Ms. Rich, to Sophie, to Kyla, and to Rihanna for sharing your wisdom with us. We miss you all terribly. We love you. Be well. Good night.
Thank you, Kate. That was awesome.
That was super smoothly.